All right, the first thing I have is Mr. Blacklaw is requesting a restraining order. Are you still requesting that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So the way I'm going to handle that is I'm going to place Mr. Blacklaw under oath, and he will tell me why he wants a restraining order entered. And then Ms. Myers, I'll place you under oath and you'll have a chance to respond. And then Mr. Blacklaw will have a chance to reply to that. And we'll make a decision regarding the restraining order. Then after that, we'll take up whatever other issues you may want to address today, okay? So Mr. Blacklaw, you want to raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. What is your full name, please?
Austin Wayne Blacklaw.
All right. And is everything you stated in your petition for a restraining order true and correct?
Yes.
Right. Tell the court why you're seeking a restraining order in this case.
I'm seeking one because she has been trying to get a hold of me, call me nonstop. She's called me over 30 times within a 2-hour period. And she has said she's going to show up to my apartment or my girlfriend's apartment and even stay there all night if she has to. And I do not feel like my daughter is safe in her care because of obvious reasons with the pictures when she had her in her care, that the condition of Hazel when she was in her care was completely unacceptable, and it terrifies me that she didn't try and help her in any way. Didn't try and take her to the hospital, get a hold of anyone, call the cops, anything. And I'm scared if she had her in her possession, what would happen again? Or what could happen. I took her to the appointments, everything. She was bruised, like lacerations. She has a broken arm. I can send you pictures of what happened when I got her back. And she hasn't took her to any of the doctor's appointments or anything like she said she was. And I just feel like she's an unfit and possible hazard to Hazel.
Has there been a report made to CPS about any of this?
Yes. To Ryan Motes and Whitney Keith.
And are they still investigating?
Yes. They've deemed me suitable to have her full time. I can give you both of their informations if you want that too, and they can be a part of the phone call. They've had walkthroughs, I mean, safety checkups, everything.
We're gonna see about that.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Myers, let me place you under oath, please. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you're coming through a little light. If you could get close to your microphone. What is your name, please?
Dakota Sky Myers.
All right, it's still fairly light. I don't know. Can we turn the volume up on our end? You know, we're going to try and increase the volume here. All right, just speak up and go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me?
Not very well.
No? Oh boy, okay.
Well, when you say, oh boy, we heard that because that was a lot louder. So that's the voice you're gonna have to speak in, okay?
Perfect. My name is Dakota Sky Myers.
Okay, thank you. And what is your, how would you like to respond?
Well, I can say regarding everything that is being against me and accusing me, I have not spoken to nobody. I have not been told nothing. So regarding everything that's being accused, I don't understand how I can be getting a protection order against my own kid. Yes, I did call him 32 times exactly because he has my daughter and I want to see my kid. He was barely the fuck around. Sorry, excuse my language. He was barely around for her. I took care of her for the first year of her life, day in and day out, when we were together and when we weren't. There were times he would rather go get drunk with his buddies than come home. There were times where I would come home and she was in her crib with a full diaper, not fed, and crying with vomit on her while he was passed out drunk with beers all around him in his mother's house in his bedroom. Numerous accounts. Not only that, I cannot physically trust him when it comes to not abusing our child. He can sit here and negligate the whole time that I'm doing this and all that. But let me just tell you this. Every time I would get her back, I would have to constantly not only take her to her doctor appointments to David Myers at the St. John's Medical Center more than a countless amount of times. He would not physically allow me to give her shots. I had to physically go behind his back to get them done. She would come back to me with so many boils from a diaper rash because she was not being properly taken care of. She was still, after the doctor had specifically ordered that she was to be weaned off formula at 9.5 months, he chose to continue for a year and 3 months to continue giving her formula when it was instructed not to. She was supposed to have lactose milk because she is lactose intolerant. The day I got picked up, it was a 911 call for my own kid. I was suffering from the flu with 103-degree temperature and asked my friend to take care of her for the night so I can get some proper rest. Sorry, this is just like a really big thing. A mother being ripped from her child is not good. It's gonna, I mean, he doesn't have to be afraid of
Ms.
me.
Myers, there, I think, are two concerns. One is that Hazel was returned to the father and she had a broken arm. Do you know anything about that?
No, I do not. And on December 6th, when he decided to get her pictures and stuff done at the Vancouver Medical Hospital, I'm pretty sure, those were completely almost healed. So for some reason, that just doesn't make any sense to me. My daughter came back to me that Sunday at 2 o'clock from the 17th Avenue Park in Lake Sacagawea with bruises on her arms and on her forehead. And not only that, let's not get into the whole case of him still not properly taking care of her with her diaper changes and feeding her actual food. He would constantly leave her with his mother and other people while he chose to go out and do other things. That is my main concern. And not only that, just 2 months ago, a person who was also living in their home, mind you, who I will also be subpoenaing because she asked me that she will do so. She was telling me that constant times when she would come home from work, that there would be diapers not only filing and piling and piling and piling in trash cans in their bedroom, that she was not being properly taken care of. She was crying constantly overnight, not going to her rescue, no, mind you, leaving her there with her night terrors, knowing she has night terrors, leaving her in that room by herself with 2 other kids. Then, when I find out about this and accuse him of it, he finally moves her into his bedroom with her and his little girlfriend. And at that moment, she was starting to notice that every time she was crying, he was just giving her a bottle and putting her in front of the TV. Barely would she ever see him even go out to the kitchen to grab any type of snacks, food, nothing. She wasn't being bathed. She was getting bruises, even escalating even further. And she even showed me even more proof of them still feeding her formula. Because I'm sorry, there should be no reason that there's a can of formula in your guys' house with no kids that are under the age of. End of my case.
The second concern is that you may be staying with or seeing Jeremy Minyard, who apparently pulled a firearm on Mr. Blacklaw. Are you aware of that?
That is not my place to tell. I am not Jeremiah Minyard, so I cannot do that or say so.
Okay.
Mr. But Blacklaw, I am, yes, living and in a relationship with Jeremiah Minyard, who takes better care of him. Way better.
All right, Mr. Blacklaw, any response?
Yes. With the person that they're friends with, that was living with us at that moment of time, I reported a false report from the calls of CPS because they were talking to each other and basically plotting this. And every time I did take Hazel into CPS so they can do the checkup, because that's mandatory, both times came back perfectly fine. Nothing's wrong. She's being perfectly handled as is. And I can have a can of baby formula laying out. It was actually holding my coffee for the coffee maker, but irrelevant. If you'd like to talk to Ryan Motes and we can get all these details and the facts and evidence that prove that Hazel was in her care when all this went down, that's completely okay. I have pictures, I have proof. He knows everything that went on. It was deemed that she was in her care when she had the broken arm, lacerations, and everything of that sort. I have proof of it. I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah,
I've been taking her to the doctors. I've been doing everything I can just to get her back. And she has night terrors since that day. But since then, she has been a lot better. She was very lethargic. She was very lethargic when I got her back. And she was scared of anyone other than me.
It's because she doesn't know any of you and she doesn't like you, dude.
Thank you for that. But
I'm literally trying to rip out of your arm.
Okay. Based on what I've heard here today, and wait till I get to the end of what I'm going to say, I'm going to enter a temporary restraining order. And that in particular requires that Ms. Myers not disturb Mr. Blacklaw, not go to his home or workplace, vehicle or school, and to remain 1,000 feet away from his home, vehicle or workplace or school. It also requires that she stay away from Hazel, but I would like to have either telephone or video visits with Hazel. And I'll tell you the kind of the time frame on this. I don't think it makes sense for you to call each other. For that is there somebody, Mr. Blacklaw, that Hazel could be with that Ms. Myers could call in order to have video visits?
yes, that's possible.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure about video quite yet, but I can try and work on that.
Okay. Yeah, obviously you need the equipment to do that. I would like to have telephone and or video visits 2 times a week. And Mr. Blacklaw, let Ms. Myers know who she could call to do that and the times that that person would be available with Hazel for her to do that. I don't think it's appropriate to completely cut off Ms. Meyer's contact from Hazel. Okay. So on the restraining order, I'm going to add that Ms. Myers will have telephone and or video visits 2 times a week.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go on and tell you a couple more things.
Okay.
All right. Secondly, I'm going to appoint someone who's called a guardian ad litem to investigate the parenting situation in this case. There's been allegations made by both of you about the other, and the court needs a third party to discuss all that with each of you and advise the court. And their focus is what's in the best interest of Hazel. Okay. And that's what the court needs. So I'm going to, usually we get 3 names. If you were attorneys, you'd get to strike a name, but we'll hear the 3 names and then I'll indicate who will be appointed.
Amy Turnbull, Vashti Langford, or Ann Heights?
Who was the first one?
Amy Turnbull.
Oh, Amy Turnbull.
I'd prefer, Your Honor.
All right, so the names were Amy Turnbull, Vashti Langford, and Ann Height. Do either of you know any of those folks?
No, Your Honor.
Yes, go ahead, Ms. Myers.
Ann Heights?
You know Ann Height?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so based on that, I'm not going to appoint her, but we would typically appoint the first person on the list. So that's going to be Amy Turnbull.
Okay.
She will reach out to you and we'll need to get some information from you. Now, in terms of paying for it, the initial order will have you each pay 1/2 of her actual cost. She can charge, well, she'll tell you what her hourly rate is. If you feel you not afford that because your income is low, you can file a declaration of your financial status and ask me to have the court have the county pay. Okay, but you'll need to file a declaration of your financial status first to do that.
Okay.
All right, so I've signed, well, let me make sure I signed it here. Just a minute.
Is there any possible way to get Ryan Motes, the CPS worker, involved?
You'll have to talk to him, whether I'm sure Ms. Turnbull will reach out to him to talk to him. He can also file a declaration in the case if he wants to. It's going to be up to him. Okay.
Right. Okay.
All right. I've signed the restraining order. As I've indicated, I appointed Ms. Turnbull as the guardian ad litem. I'm ordering telephone or video visits twice a week between Ms. Myers and Hazel. Are there any other issues that we need to address today?
The only thing I have a question on regarding what he had just said about the CPS, Ryan Motes. I was also informed that it was transferred from Washington into Columbia County here in Oregon. I was wondering if you know exactly who that might be, if it's not Whitney.
That's something I would not know.
I do. That would be the police investigation. It was turned over to Columbia County because she and everything that happened would be where she lives in Rainier, Oregon. And Whitney Keith is the CPS worker in Vancouver. Ryan Motes is the one that works in Longview.
Longview. Yeah, I know that one.
Okay, is there another CPS worker in Vancouver that you know of? Do you know a name?
There was another one. I'd have to track her info down. I might have it in my wallet. Shouldn't stick around
Or
long.
you
Other
can.
thing I wanted to discuss as well, if possible. I have a lot of pictures and stuff that are in a tote and hanging on his wall in his mother's house in his room. I need those back. Those are my ultrasound pictures, and a couple other like important things are in that box.
Okay, so let me let you know a couple things. First of all, you should show those to the guardian ad litem when she gets involved.
Okay.
Second of all, if you want the court to consider any of that, you'll need to file it with the court. And we usually do that, what we call under seal, which means it's not open to the public. And you'll need to provide a copy to Mr. Blacklaw.
Okay.
And then finally, you can offer those to the CPS investigator. If you're concerned about Mr. Blacklaw's conduct towards Hazel, you're free to ask CPS to open their own investigation into his conduct. Okay. So those are kind of the array of choices that you have. You can do one or more of those. Right.
Sounds good. Thank
Okay,
you.
we need to set a review date. And I think I'm going to go 3 weeks out. So that would be February 15th.
What time?
And it'll be 9 o'clock, just like today. And it will be on Zoom, just like today.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you.
And with these,
All right, we'll see you back here then. And I want to make sure that Ms. Turnbull has been able to contact both of you.
with these televised visits or phone whatever visits, does that start next week on Monday? And
Well, right now I'm going to leave it to the two of you or to whoever you were going to utilize to be with Hazel to contact Ms. Myers and pick 2 convenient days a week to do that.
okay.
All right. I'm hoping you can do that. If you can't, then I'll define it on the 15th. But without knowing anybody's schedule, it doesn't make sense for me to say, you know,
Right.
this that date because I'm bound to pick an inconvenient time. So
I get a new schedule every week, so I understand.
okay. So let's, you know, it'd be good if you could pick particular times during the week so everybody can count on it. But I want that to be at the convenience of the parties. All right.
Right.
Okay. All right. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you back here on the 15th. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you, Your
very
Honor.
much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.
We have both here, and also Ms. Turnbull. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
We're here on a review hearing. I had ordered telephone visits 2 times a week, and I did enter a restraining order last time we were together. Mr. Blacklaw, have the telephone visits been occurring? Mr. Blacklaw is left us. Oh, there we are. Mr. Blacklaw, can you hear me? Well, let's start with Ms. Turnbull. Have you been in touch with the parties?
I had been in touch with the party, and I originally, there had been no contact with the telephone visits. I reached out a second time to Mr. Blacklaw again last week, and he was under the impression, he told me that he needed to pay me and complete the paperwork before he initiated those telephone calls. And I said, no, that was not the case, that he could go ahead and have a third party, go ahead and initiate that. And so he sent me a text and said that that Ms. Myers had contact, phone contact or video contact with Hazel. And so I'm aware of at least one contact last week, and I'm not sure if there's been more.
Okay. Yeah, the order that reflects that was filed on January 25th.
Yes.
Ms. Myers, can you confirm that telephone or video contact has occurred?
Yes, he has gotten in the.
You're really light. You'll need to speak up or get closer to your microphone.
Yes, he has let me have contact with my daughter 2 times. One was on Friday for 5 minutes, and the other one was 2 days ago on Monday for about 25.
Okay. All right. I want those visits to continue. And I see in the schedule that we're due to come back on March 1st for a report from the guardian ad litem. Is that going to be enough time, Ms. Turnbull, to at least advise the court of how things are going, or do you need more time?
I can give I have talked to CPS. I can give you some initial information, but I have not received paperwork back from either mother or father. I emailed them about a little over 2 weeks ago, so they've had it in their possession for about 2 weeks, and I asked them both to return it to me prior to today's hearing. So I don't have that back, so I may need more time. Yes. I can tell you that based on my conversations with, 2 different CPS investigators on both cases, that Hazel is safe with Dad right now. And
Okay.
So that's good news.
All right. I need both parties to return the background information paperwork to Ms. Turnbull. I'm not going to be able to make additional decisions in this case until she can complete her investigation. All right. So do that as soon as possible. Let's set the next hearing out to March 15th. I want to make sure Ms. Turnbull has enough time to talk to everybody. And I want the video visits twice per week to continue during that time. All right, Mr. Blacklaw, will that work with you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
I have the paperwork all filled out, other than just the initial house come from the other, my significant other. So I can get that filed out and done.
Okay, good. Thank you.
One other
And
thing,
Ms.
Your Honor.
Myers, the sooner that gets done, the sooner we can go forward in this case.
Yeah, I was in the
Okay.
process of finding a printer.
Okay.
And
One other thing, Your Honor, both Mom and Dad had expressed concern about payment, and I don't know if I had suggested that they file a declaration or a motion and financial disclosure about potentially moving this to a county pay case. So that's something that may need to be evaluated.
If you feel you cannot personally pay for Ms. Turnbull or the guardian, then I do need to see a financial declaration, and you can get a form from the clerk's office. This is for both parties, and file that. And on the 15th, I can look at that. And if you qualify, then it's possible the county can pay. But I can't make that decision until I see that declaration. And if you want to give that declaration to Ms. Turnbull and she can forward it to me, I can make that decision possibly before the 15th. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Okay, so things are going to stay the way they are then, and I'll see everybody back here on March 15th. And we'll strike the hearing of that's on for March 1st. Okay.
Okay, I have a question.
All right, you're going to have to speak up again. You're coming in really, really light.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So you said for video chats twice a week. Is that, can you clarify if possible? Because the last time it was phone call and video. Is it video now? Because I would honestly prefer video over phone call because my daughter can barely even understand me or see me or even know who I am. So the video calls would be a lot easier for my daughter to know who she's talking to. Because I'm getting like the bare minimum on phone calls to talk to my kid, and it's not okay after not seeing her and being completely ripped from my daughter. So,
All right, I'm sorry to do this, but with the speaker here in the courtroom, it was really difficult to hear. Ms. Turnbull, you may have been able to hear her better on your end.
Yes.
What was her question, please?
Ms. Myers is requesting that that the contact with her daughter going forward is through video chats or video contact versus phone calls because it's easier for her and her daughter to communicate through video versus the phone calls.
yeah.
Mr. Blacklaw, any concern about doing this through video?
We are trying to get the Zoom thing and everything downloaded on my mom's phone so she can do the video chat and everything because I can't do it through my phone because of the restraining order. So I have to go through my mom and she's tracking down an old computer and then making it work.
Okay, and then you can provide the link or the Zoom link or whatever program you're going to to Ms. Myers. I'd like that to be accomplished in the next week so that all the visits after that can be by video. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
All right. So Ms. Myers, we're going to do our best to have those be video visits going forward.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. All right. I think that's it on that case. We'll see you back here on March 15th.
Thank you, Your
The
Honor.
15th.
All right, next is Austin Blacklaw and Dakota Myers.
Hello, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
All right. Looks like I had ordered telephone or video visits twice a week. How have those been going, Mr. Blacklaw?
They've been doing pretty well as far as I know.
Okay. Ms. Myers,
Well, I have a whole nother opinion on that.
you're coming through really light, so I'm going to ask you to speak up a little bit.
Can you hear me better?
Better, yes.
Perfect. Okay, so I have another opinion on that.
Okay.
Normally, these visitations are supposed to last normally an hour or so. They last maybe 6 minutes. Sometimes a range to 25, as long as they'll go. My daughter's span of paying attention, I guess, is like in a fragments of times when she gets super tired. So I'm not sure if they're purposely doing this to where she only wants to talk to me for a short amount of time and then rip the phone away, or what's going on, because I'm pretty sure we agreed it was supposed to be every Tuesday and every Friday, but I have only talked to my daughter over video chat 4 times. Well, sorry, 3. This last time, that was my bad. I wasn't home. But I did call her. So, I'm not really sure if he's making excuses for the times that he wants to go to his mother's to drop her off. But it's seeming
me?
like he's just not taking the initiative to do it on time. There were numerous amount of times where it was because the snow or this, which is understandable. But when I can drive through woodland, in a little car perfectly fine. It's fine. I'm pretty sure he can drive in a little bitty snow because I've seen him drive in worse. So that was an excuse. Secondly, when I do talk to my daughter, she is normally present, which is his mother, which is understandable because of the situation, but constantly trying to take the phone from my daughter because she can't hear me or see me or this and that, and constantly trying to fix the phone is a massive problem. So obviously this video chatting isn't working. So is there any other way we can do in-person visitations? Because if the phone call, the video chatting isn't working, what can we do?
Okay, thank you. Let me hear from Ms. Turnbull. Have you had a chance to speak to the parties?
I have, Mr. Blacklaw has returned his paperwork. I have had an interview with him. I've had a Zoom, visit in his home. I've seen Hazel. I've interviewed some of his collaterals. Ms. Myers has not returned her paperwork. She has had over a month to do so. She's been in communication that she's trying to. I've given her very direct information about how to do so. She has not done so. So that is where things stand with Ms. Myers. I have spoken with a number of collaterals and CPS, and I have some very serious concerns about how the child abuse that occurred to Hazel while she was in the care of Ms. Myers. It was extreme and very concerning.
Mind you, Your Honor, these are accusations and there has not been anything filed. And as the person standing right there is going to find out that those rumors are going to be squashed when they find out that the Sunday I picked her up that she had red marks all over her body. So let's continue, Austin. We'll figure out who happened there. I have proof on that one. I took pictures the day I got her. So we'll continue that in court.
All right, Ms. Myers, I'm not going to consider in-person visits until you provide the information necessary to the GAL and I get additional reports from the guardian ad litem. So it really is in your best interest to cooperate with her because I'm not going to consider
times to send that paperwork through. I have contacted the UPS people that she has told me to go to, which I did that. And when I went over there, they told me that they could not find her IP address. So I don't know what else to do. I have tried asking her for a physical address that I can go to. I don't care what the distance is. I have asked. I have tried doing a picture of the actual paperwork.
Do you have Ms. Turnbull's phone number?
I do have her phone number.
And you've been in touch with her, I think. Make sure you, you need to get her the what she calls a packet, which is information that you need to fill out to get to her. Okay. All right. The restraining order I'm looking at says that there will be 2 telephone visits a week There's no indication as to how long they will last. We're dealing with a very young child at this point. I understand it's not optimal, but the court's interest is to make sure that the child is safe. And the best way to do that at this point is to keep the telephone visits. Mr. Blacklaw, try to facilitate those the best you can. But if the child gets distracted and doesn't want to talk after 10 minutes, I don't know that anybody can change that, because
She's
your
a year and a
child's,
half. We're
what
gonna
I've got
give her
is
that.
17 months, I guess 18 months old now. So I understand that's difficult, but I can't order, I'm not going to order in-person visits until I get more information from Ms. Turnbull. Okay. Let's come back in a month and see where we're at then. So that will be April 12th.
Is there any way we can get it a later time? Because I'm
Then
going to
9
start
o'clock.
working here soon, and I'm not sure if
These are only heard at 9 o'clock, and I don't know when I'm going to call your case. So I can only set it at 9. There's one other docket on Thursday that's also at 9, but right now, for everybody's purposes, at least at the court, we need to keep it on Wednesday at 9.
Okay.
All right, so we'll see you back here on April 12th at 9 o'clock. And the telephone visits remain in place, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.